and gentlemen, welcome to the Arica SME Summit 2026. Marceline, aren't you excited about this?
Very, very excited.
I am so excited as well, and I know you are very excited. For the next 2 hours, sit down, relax, and enjoy, because we'll be bringing you the launch of this particular summit today, and it features 6 thematic summits.
Among the pillars is finance, capital, and investment, where we're going to dive into how you're going to access financing as a business, capital for your business, and how you're going to invest into your business. Also among the pillars is industry-academia collaboration. How does the industry and academia collaborate together in order to be able to push the agenda of job creation forward?
We'll also be looking at market access and cross-border trade. Conversations such as the intra-Africa trade will be happening. We'll be joined by a very good expert in that particular field. Ladies and gentlemen, we're all about looking about human resource for our businesses. We'll be looking at the talent and human resource track, which will be fostering conversation around talent and in particular, looking at the team. We'll also be looking at the AI and emerging technologies. I know right now AI is big, everyone is talking about AI, but how can we use this to accelerate and advance our business? And finally, we'll be looking at the Kenya entrepreneurship ecosystem. When you look at the 6 Eisenberg domains of the innovation ecosystem, we'll be looking at policy, we'll be looking at human capital, support, finance, and just looking at how we collaborate as the Kenyan entrepreneurship ecosystem. This is lined up for you in the next 2 hours. You don't want to leave where you are, because we have a team of experts who will be coming to speak on this particular summit. We'll be having a panel discussion in this particular webinar. And finally, we'll break into the 6 groups so that we can able to interact with each other. So Marceline, we're all ready. You're excited?
Very excited, and I'd like you guys to stay tuned in.
Yes, please stay tuned. We'll be looking at this so that you are able to participate, and we are so happy and excited to have you. Welcome to this particular launch once again for the Arica SME Summit. Right about now, ladies and gentlemen, without wasting a lot of time, I'd like to introduce one gentleman who's a vision bearer, the man behind this particular idea, and he's an icon as far as visionary leadership is concerned. Over 2 decades working in development programs across Kenya and Africa, and globally, he's a celebrated leader. Featured in the 2021 Top 100 Kenyan Most Influential People. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome the founder and CEO for I Choose Life Africa, Engineer Mike Mutungi. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, viewers. This is really amazing. It's a great day for us to be able to launch this Arica SME Summit today. And the story goes back about 10 years ago. I traveled to Sweden. And like most Kenyans, when you go to a different country, you're always looking for potential, can I find something that is Kenyan to be able to buy in the supermarket? So I went to this supermarket, and as I was walking around, I saw a tea bag that was written Kiricho tea. I was so excited. I went and picked it up, and then I looked at the tea bag, and what I saw next completely sank my heart. On the tea bag, it was written, packaged in United Kingdom. So I began wondering, why is Kenyan tea packaged in the UK? So when I came back to Kenya, I spent some time discussing with Kabianga University Vice Chancellor and the CEO for James Finley's tea, and they explained to me what is happening. And they said, actually, Mike, over 95% of Kenyan tea is exported as raw materials and then packaged in UK. I went and looked at the data, and I realized for every $1 Kenya makes from tea, UK makes $1. That was very sad, because I thought we do so much hard work, we provide the land, we provide the labor, but at the end of the day, other countries are making the most out of our natural resources because they're doing value addition. So I came back and I began thinking, so what can I do? And to cut the long story short, there was born the idea to begin spurring up enterprise development in Africa. Did you know we have about 1.4 million Africans in the African continent? It's a huge market. In terms of economy, we have about $3.4 trillion economy as Africans. But unfortunately, a lot of natural resources in Africa end up being exported to other countries. They add value, and then they reap the most out of our natural resources. So this conversation is about small and medium enterprises, but on a bigger scale is asking, how can we grow the African economy? How can we provide more jobs in Africa? When I look at Kenya, you find a lot of young people graduating and they're out tamarking looking for jobs. How can we change this? So welcome to the Arica SME Summit. It's a summit where we begin to discuss, to engage, and find solutions that help the African economy accelerate, that helps the MSMEs. As you know, when you think about Kenyan MSMEs, there are about 7.4 million of them. They create about 40% of the economy. In terms of employment, we have 18 million Kenyans employed, but they generate about 15 million jobs. And yet, we have a big problem. In the first 1 year, 50% of all the micro, small, and medium enterprises die. In the second year, a further 25% die. So we're talking about a total of 75% of all the micro, small, and medium enterprises dying in the first 2 years. And so we would like to change that so that we have what we call the missing middle. When you think of MSMEs as micro, small, and medium enterprises, the medium enterprise is about 2%. So our goal is to be able to expand the missing middle, which is the small, medium enterprise, to increase the number of medium enterprises so we can be able to create more jobs. And so welcome to this conversation, because you are part of the solution to the problem that we face as a country. So with that, I'm going to introduce my panel over here. We have a team over here. Maybe they can introduce ourselves and we just have a coffee discussion. So you can start with Victor.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here, Mike. I am extremely excited to be here around this time. Kenya is going through an transformation and innovation transformation right now. So this Kenya is happening all over the world.
Yes.
So I've spent the last 30 years working in Silicon Valley. I've worked for Facebook, I've worked for Amazon, I worked for Walmart. And, technology is changing so fast. You used to think that when you create AI, that it will take, in 6 months or every month, the advance is so fast that it's a hard time even for business to catch up and stay active. So I'm here to really represent AI technology and how businesses can use AI to automate their task, to help them save money, save time, and also to kind of remove the myth that you have to have a lot of money for you to use AI. So I'm very happy to come here to just show the community here in Kenya that there's so much you can do today if you know how to use it the right way.
Okay, thank you so much, Victor. And you are Kenyan, born in Kenya.
Yes.
In primary and secondary school, you went to the US.
Yes.
And now you are doing amazing things in Silicon Valley. I understand you actually work with Amazon.
Yes.
And you developed an AI solution. So how many customers were able to take up the Amazon solution, and what sort of money are we talking about here?
Well, Amazon has one of the highest traffic for e-commerce in the world.
Yeah.
We talk about 300 million visitors a day.
A day.
And it generates, the year it generates almost about $16 billion in annual revenue. So it's massive money, but part of that is they've created a system that makes it really, really easy for people to shop.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a lot of product design, there's a lot of using machine learning, collecting really great data so that they can learn how to actually better serve their customers.
Yeah, so a typical Kenyan out in the US generating billions of dollars. What do we need to do as Kenyans to get to a point where these unicorns, like the Amazons of this world, coming out of Kenya
Yeah.
so that we have these high impact economies?
I think what it is I really believe that Kenya has so much talent.
Yes.
Right? Kenyans are talented. We invented M-Pesa,
Yeah.
which has completely changed the digital world and financial world everywhere.
Yes.
So we are actually, as a default, Kenyans are innovators.
Yes.
And we are innovators because, as a default,
Yeah.
we need to be to solve our everyday problems.
Yes.
So I think what's really missing is we have the talent, but you want to make sure there's also opportunity. So how do you actually merge opportunity with talent so that we can actually be able to do the things we want to do? And I think we're getting there, and I'm so excited because AI is going to enable us to be more innovative.
Yeah.
Right? AI is going to give us superpowers, small business superpowers, to do things that you wouldn't do like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So the question is, how do we kind of capitalize on this moment and use AI to speed ahead and innovate and be able to kind of create whole industries from manufacturing to services to education? That possibility is there because AI now is that tool that we needed to actually help us go 10 times faster.
Well done. And you're part of the Africa SME Summit.
Yes.
So we are so glad to have you.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you'll be supporting a lot of these companies that you're working with to introduce AI into their businesses.
Yes.
So they need to come to the conference, right?
Thank you. I'll be there.
All right. So from Victor, we go to James. So James, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Thank you so much, Mike. I'm James Adera. I'm a recent graduate and also a small business owner. I'm more of an SME owner. I have one which I've run for more than 2 years. So I can say it as first year statistics.
Yes.
It didn't die in the first year.
Yeah.
It didn't die in the second year. So maybe I can move there.
Yeah.
Also, I've started a new one. And
Actually, before you go there, so which year did you leave university?
I left university in 2024.
2024.
Yes.
Okay. Which university was this?
I was in the University of Nairobi.
University of Nairobi. Is it the University of Nairobi?
The University of Nairobi.
And what were you studying?
I studied mechanical engineering.
Yes.
Yes.
So how has it been? You said which year did you leave?
2024.
2024. So that's been like 2 years.
2 years.
So when you look at yourself and your contemporaries, how has it been getting a job?
I think getting a job is an uphill task in Kenya.
Yeah.
And mostly entry-level job, they are not there.
Even as a mechanical engineer?
They are not there.
Oh
I've
my
actually
goodness.
gone to a few interviews, and
Yeah.
then mostly, they want an entry job.
Yes.
But the specification they give there is like they need someone who has been there for 10 years.
Oh my.
So sometimes you go there and
Yeah.
you realize that your competitors for the same entry-level job are
Yeah.
people who are maybe in the companies which maybe they went under.
Yeah.
So they are coming with experience.
Yeah.
Also, the remuneration is just the same for everyone.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
mostly the companies will take that person with experience.
Yeah.
So it's not easy to get jobs in Kenya.
So that's a challenge. I mean, you've got all these professionals, medical doctors, lawyers, engineers being trained, but when they leave university, there are no jobs. And oftentimes you talk about this gap between the market and the academia. We are skilling our young people at this level, and yet the industry needs this kind of skills. So there's a gap. I think there may be unemployment, I don't know, is it about 60% as far as the youth is concerned? So there's a huge gap. And so it's to ask the Jameses of this world, and that's what I Choose Life is working at. What do we need to do the bridging between the industry and academia so that by the time you leave university, you're ready for employment? That's the big question. And as we work on Africa SME Summit, it's introducing industry-academia collaboration so we can be able to bridge this gap we're talking about. And so let me actually go to a student now who is at the university. Hi, Comfort.
Hi there.
Yeah.
My name is Comfort Manga, as you've mentioned. I am a student at the University of Nairobi.
Oh, same place.
Currently taking microprocessor technology and instrumentation.
Yes.
It's a new introduced course, so most people don't know much about it.
Yes.
But yeah, it's an exciting journey for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you think about your exposure to the industry, what is the curriculum like? How is your exposure to what is needed in the market in terms of just your own assessment?
Okay, in terms of my own assessment, I feel like a lot of what we are taught, a lot of what we are, the information we're provided with is majorly theory, because I have done a lot of calculus personally. I have done a lot of mathematical things, and I have interacted with so much content. But when it comes to employability skills or information that will make me ready for the market, I don't think it's well dealt with at the university.
Okay. So, but I've got good news for you. So as we work on the Africa SME Summit, you know, as I talked about, generally you hear me talk a lot about the quadrihelix, meaning as we seek to solve problems in a country or county, we need to bring together the government, the private sector, academia, and the civil society to address this problem. So that's number one. But one of the programs that we're having around industry academia collaboration is a partnership with Mount Kenya University and 10 other universities. And so what you are doing is that as we work with businesses, because we are doing a lot of business development and capacity building, so this is a business, then we identify a key problem, and then a university that is best placed to solve that problem, and then we match them. And then for a period of about 6 months, these university teams work with the industry to solve this problem. So the company then has a research-based solution, but also the students and the faculty have the opportunity to be able to work on an actual problem that then becomes part of their academic work. And that is what this summit is about. So with that, I'm so happy to invite you to join us in this journey on the Africa SME Summit. And as we move forward now, we'll have an amazing panel that will take us to the next level, where we look at the 6 tracks Ian talks about, so that this panel can continue to unpacking this further, so that together, the 1.4 strong Africans, we can begin providing our own solution to our own continent, so we can add value and create jobs and have amazing economies and unicorns emerging from this continent. So welcome, and great to have you two here today. So over to the panel.
Is Salome Ayugi. I'll be the moderator for this panel session that we're planning to have till the top of the hour before we break out into the tracks. So I'll just share my screen so we can have the introductions of the presenters. Give me 1 second. Right. Apologies for that, everyone. Seems like tech embarrasses you on the day when you need it the most. Poleni sana. So let me just reshare my screen. right. Just putting this on full screen. So I'm sure as you have heard, we have a number of tracks that we will be covering today. For this panel discussion, we're going to leverage at least having some entry touch points with each of the track leads who you will get to interact with more and get to deep dive with at the top of the hour. So I'll start by introducing the first one. Screen is taking a while to load. Not sure why. Anyway, time and tide wait for no one, man, guys. I'll just introduce them old school. So first we have Dr. Hilda Muteshi, who is actually going to be overseeing the markets and cross-border trade track. She has a heavy background in inclusive business and is a design consultant as well. She's a doctor, not because she is a medical doctor, but because she is very learned and has a PhD in business administration with 15 years in private sector and development research. She specializes in human-centered design, as I'd mentioned, inclusive business models, and multi-stakeholder partnerships. Dr. Hilda, you can just wave at people so they know you before we get into the questions. Great. Next, we have Dr. Henry Atich, who is the principal of the College of Graduate Studies and Research at MKU. He's a senior management science research fellow, focusing on university business linkages, knowledge transfer, entrepreneurship, and innovation as well. Daktari, if you are on the call, you can put your camera on and just smile and wave at the people right as we are about to get into the panel. Next, we have Susan, who is the head of SME banking at NCBA Kenya. She's a banking veteran with over 20 years of experience supporting micro, SME, and corporate growth. She leads SME strategy across NCBA's over 100 branches and strives to drive economic resilience and tailored financial solutions as well. I've seen her on the call. Great to see you and have you here, Susan. Next, we have Mike, who goes by the full name of Michael Madi. I also see him on the call. He's the Chief Revenue Officer and co-founder of Fleet Planner, which is an AI logistics platform with cross-industry experience in fintech, health tech, and mortgage banking. That's more or less speaking about his own experience. He drives revenue strategy and commercialization and serves as an AIU lecturer and has often also spoken in different church guest speaking engagements. Mike, you can just wave at the people. I know they'll hear your voice when we get into the panel.
Hi, everyone. Welcome.
Great. Amazing. Next, we have Victor, who's also be overseeing the AI and technology adoption track. He's the founder of Duapath, and he's a product builder leading AI search at Walmart with prior experience deploying Amazon's Rufus AI assistant. So you can see we have a lot of people with vast experience that isn't just relevant to the Kenyan market, but the global market as well. He's the founder of Duapath, which is a voice-first AI learning platform piloting in Kenyan schools for low data environments. You can look and see he's there, very branded with his hat on. Mike, you can wave to the people. Right. Right. Next is to more or less just give you an additional overview. I will be overseeing the Kenya entrepreneurship ecosystem breakout once we get into the tracks. I currently serve as an associate director of an accelerator called Synapis, which has a presence in East Africa, and also serve on the Association of Startup and SME Enablers Board as vice chair. Really great to have you all. So to our dear panelists, I know we may be having some technical difficulties, but if it's possible for us to just remain engaged and keep our video on just so that the attendees are able to see us, that would be great. So I didn't manage to see if Dr. Yatich is here though, because I can't see him on my screen. The first question was going to him. Dr. Yatich, is he here? Guess not. Right. Okay, so we'll move to Susan. We'll start with the hot topic, which is often around money. Susan, we've seen even in the overview given that over 60% of small businesses usually have issues with finances and cash flow. So since you've been in the sector for a really long time, what are some of the things SMEs can do to be more bankable and more attractive in terms of getting investment from investors and financial institutions?
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Salome, for that question. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Crystal clear.
Okay, good. Yeah, I guess what you're asking me is, as a financial, what do we look for when we want to finance, or when the entrepreneur needs finance, either from the bank or from investors?
Yes, exactly. So more or less, what would make you say yes to giving money and capital to a business?
Okay, so getting money or borrowing money is quite basic, and it goes into the same way I would come and borrow money from you. And the question you'd be asking me, do I know you? Where do you come from? Are you able to pay? Do you have the ability to pay me back? So it's the basic, it's as basic as that, because even if you went to a family member, they would be wondering, why are you borrowing? What do you want to do? If you give them a dream that they see, it will not fly, they will never give you money. So it's the same thing that the bank will look at. It's only that it comes in more professionally and more structured. So at the bank, we look at the 5 C's. We call them the 5 C's. And these 5 C's include character. Your character is very basic. What is your reputation? What is your credit history? Do you repay in time? Do you have a good track record? Can I trust you? And how we try to gauge that is looking at your bank statements. Do you issue checks that bounce? Do you have a CRB listing that you had ever been given a debt by someone and you never paid? Do you pay your suppliers in time? Do you pay your employees in time? If I do a random check with your employees, would they be speaking good about you? So there are many things that we look at, but basically we look at financial character. This is because we know there are people who default, not because they do not have the money, but it's because either they do not give your debt priority, or they don't just understand that repayment of debt is important. So the other character we look at, or the other issue we look at, is capacity. You might be very willing to repay, but do you have the ability? So that is capacity. So based on your cash flows, based on the revenues, the margins you're making, other debt obligations that you have, are you able to pay your rent? Are you able to pay your employees and then have excess money to repay the debt? So we look at that. And how we gauge that is looking at your financials. But basically, when the business is small, we know that you may not really do audited accounts, but we look at your bank statement, and see how the turnovers are coming in and out. With a basic interview with you, looking at what are your requirements and how your cash flows are managed. But on the larger picture for established businesses, we look at the financial statements, because you will have kept a record of your audited accounts, your management accounts, cash flow statements, and even a projection sometimes still helps so that we can make the decision of your ability to repay. Yeah, the other thing is on capital. What is it that you're putting into the project probably that you are looking at? We don't want to be in a project alone. Even if I was an investor, I don't want to put my money alone. What is in it for you, so that firstly you can have the weight of the debt, you can share the weight of the debt and the risk. Secondly, you're the one doing the project. It is important that you are also sharing what is it in the projection of it. So if you have a shop, as basic as a shop, do you have the stocks? Have you already started? And can we be able to now finance you to expand? So we look at what is in it for you. Then collateral, that is the fourth C we are talking about. In case you don't pay, in case something happens, because it is sometimes unpredictable, that the project that you had at hand doesn't go in the exact way that you had planned. Where would we get this money? Any investor would want to know what is the fallback position, and this is where we ask for security. We ask for land, we ask for vehicles, we ask for other assets, or we ask for guarantees from other people, and that is how we place collateral. Then conditions. Conditions is the last C. So we do acknowledge that you have risks, and there are situations that would either go very unpredictably either way. And so we put conditions, for example, like insurance. Like coming soon, we've been warned about the El Nino. What are the measures you're taking? And because we are financing you, we are interested to know, have you insured your business? Have you insured the goods that you're going to be ferrying during that period? So there are some of those conditions that we condition so that the whole investment and the whole funding can be safe. Yeah, but other than that, then it means that the business needs to keep proper records of their business so that all these conditions, like the one for capacity, the one for character, we can be able to gauge it very well. We realize that there are many people who fail to get credit because they didn't keep records, yet their business is running so well. So that is the number one thing that we advise that any business should always keep. Whether you have in-house accountants, whether you have outsourced, but what are those records that you keep to give a true picture of what your business is doing? Then we look at governance. How can you ensure that your business is running in the right, in the right environment? The government will, for example, just want you to pay taxes, want you to pay VAT. Are you paying? Are you filing returns in time? So that when we finance you, the business is not exposed to the risks of closure or foreclosure by the government, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Then the other thing for you to access financing is the history of your repayment. And in this case also, we look at diversion. We want you to borrow money and put in the right or in the intended use. If you borrowed money meant to treat your working capital, like purchase stock, and sooner or later you use the same funds to go and buy properties that will take a while to to pay back, then it can be very detrimental. Yeah.
Thank you,
Salome, those are
Susan.
some of the issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much getting into detail. But I think one key theme we're seeing across the board is the importance of record keeping. Despite your business size, as you've heard from Susan, there's multiple things you can use to track, even if you aren't necessarily an established business. Great. I'll shift focus now to more or less the AI track. So, Victor, you've done a lot of work with Juapath, and I'm sure you always strive for practicality in everything you've been able to do across your career, Amazon and Target. Considering all you've been able to do, what are some of the ways you think small business owners, both in service or product industry, can apply AI just so that they can be able to see more productivity in their businesses?
Businesses in Kenya have. And the myth is that, that you have to be a big company and you have a lot of money for you to benefit from AI. And I want to kind of kill that myth right away. There are a lot of kind of free AI tools or almost free AI tools that every single business in Kenya can use. So one of the main things, if I were to say, the number one is what
access to market versus the actual access. You find that most SMEs could have a great product, but they're not able to take this product to the market. And you look at the challenges that look at the movement of inventory, scaling operations, and integrating both locally and internationally. Other things that are coming up, like a threat to a mandatory exclusion, is the regulatory framework that finds it hard for most of our small and medium enterprises to be able to meet the international regulations. A case in point, you are looking at the ESG reporting, which restricts some of the SME. Look at it that we are having several factors, policy issues that are affecting, we have financial issues affecting access to markets, and then we have the issue of data security and privacy that is also a growing concern. So back to this, then we look at then who is leading the SMEs in terms of accessing the markets. We have the big five and the big four who dominate the market strategy. But you find that some of the products that have been developed, then the SMEs are not able to afford some of the products in the market. So the SMEs are left out in terms of targeting, that you look at maybe export market and the cooperatives, that the smaller ones are not able to be able to fit into the matrix. And then you look at the frameworks that exist, the pricing models, you find that also the SMEs may not afford the tools and the services that are in the market. Then what is the role of academia, the private sector, and the other actors? Academia could generate some evidence that is contextualizing innovations to bridge these digital skill gaps, and also to ensure that unbiased data ethics are not going to lock out some of the SMEs on access to market. And we could be looking at academia developing some of the digital products so that we can have more affordable, customizable services for the SMEs, for the small, medium enterprises, because we already have services for the big enterprises, but the small enterprises do not have these type of services. And then we're looking at the private sector, having an architecture whereby we are integrating the supply chain, offering tailored financial tools, offering the AI tools, and looking at building accessible and a lower barrier to the digital platforms that can enable cross-border in the local and cross-border trade. Then what is the role of development actors? I would think that some of these things need a heavy investment, and we have the role of government and the development actors that can come in to guarantee the equity, investing in core digital public infrastructure, de-risking the private investment, and formulating some standardized policies. And the government could also support in the negotiations and cross-border trade and leveraging on the policies that exist so that we are working all together to address the barriers towards access to markets. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Dr. Hilda. So as you have all heard, no man is an island, and a market access isn't just relying on necessarily one pillar or one sphere to be able to succeed. So each more or less actor that Hilda has highlighted has a different and key role to play. Great. So I'd just like to touch base again to see if Dr. I want to find out if those tech difficulties have been solved. Dr. Atich, if you can hear us and come off mute.